Jane Minar, she's on the ground there, and she's going to talk to us a little bit more about what this has been like, of course, in the Northeast. There's the visuals. That is in Somerset County, North Plainfield. We're watching all of that come down the river. I mean, at times it's like, I said the river. That's not even the river. It looks like a river. That's a community. You got shipping containers. Meteorologist Jane Minar is in North Plainfield with a look at the situation and what's to come. And Jane, since we last talked, it looked like a cluster of storms now starting to take form.
Yeah, you know, I would say we actually kind of got a little lucky with that storm that kind of split just to our south. We did get a couple of, big raindrops, but nothing that really came down in a hurry. And that's the thing, we don't want any of that heavy, slow-moving rain like we had on Monday evening, especially when you look at the damage that all of that flooding has caused since Monday. We're 2 days removed from the floods, and there are multiple streets that look just like this, right? As people have started that process of pumping out their basements and clearing away the water-soaked debris, drywall, appliances in a lot of cases, belongings, couches, you name it, and it's all in the streets here. So it has been a really tough 48 hours for this community, and knowing that there's more rain in the forecast and an atmosphere that is so juiced up right now that really all it takes is a half an inch rain like you showed, that can lead to more flooding. So the Stony Brook, that's what babbles quietly on a normal day like today, right behind this tree line, and then it snakes in behind this road and then back behind these homes. And that is what rose nearly a good 6-7 feet. It crested just below its record set back, I believe with Ida, but I want to double check. Don't quote me on that. But I know 10 feet was the record. We were just shy about 9. So, and I mentioned Ida just because for reference in this community, that is what people have been saying over and over again. We haven't seen floods like this since Hurricane Ida, which, as we know, was not a hurricane. When it moved up through the Northeast back in 2021, the remnant storm with all of its tropical moisture led to just disastrous flooding. And so, Steve, the question now becomes, how do we move forward from this? I spoke with one woman, Mariana. She actually lives right across the street here. And I asked her, we have this flash flood warning. How does this make you move forward in events like this? And she, of course, says, I take them seriously and I expect to see flooding. And we're talking about ways in which maybe we raise our home because we're in a floodplain. She goes, people do it down the shore. And that's certainly true. I also spoke with one man, Piero, who was down a couple blocks away from where I'm standing right now, where it was the Green Brook that overflowed its banks and came rushing down through his community. And this is what he had to say about his flooding.
I got it all pumped out, but I think there's probably the sewage is still backed up, so that's probably still what's coming up. And I think there's a crack in my sewer line, so I think that's what's causing it to come back up. The Mazda didn't make it. That one got floated, pushed on its side. But that was a total loss.
A total loss. And there were several cars that are a total loss that we came across that were being hauled away by, their trailers and, getting clinked on to the back of trucks as they get pulled away. But, Steve, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously we're expecting more rain tonight. There could be a couple rounds still to come, which is why we have that flood watch. Given how saturated the ground is, all it's going to take is perhaps a half an inch or an inch of rain. Hopefully it doesn't come in such a short period of time. But I'll leave you with this because I think this was really interesting that I came across today. This man, Jeff, and he works with 1-800-WATER damage. And so they were going around doing assessment to homes and beginning that pull-out process. And he said to me that the type of flood water that these folks are dealing with right now is the most dangerous and the most contaminated of all floodwaters. And it's because when you think about it, when you get, flooding that comes down the streets and everything like that, when it's just a flash flood that doesn't necessarily come from a creek or a stream or a river, that's a little bit more purified. In this case, it's not. And so you're picking up all the sediment, you're picking up all the oils and the chemicals, and now all of that is amongst the belongings. All of that dried water or soaked water is amongst these belongings and inside these folks' homes. And so making sure you're cleaning it up properly safely for your home and also for your own health.
Yeah, we talk about mold being a big concern after this as well, Jane. So just speaks to how difficult this process is. And the first thing you need is it to dry out, and it ain't drying out. North Plainfield, New Jersey, that's where Jane's at. Thank you for that update.